How are we doing, you wonderful people? My name is Jay, and welcome to the Season 2 of Chilling with the Ohmies podcast. Now, before we get into the podcast, make sure you leave a like on this video as it does help the channel out quite a lot. And also remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell because YouTube will notify you every single time that we upload a brand new video. But now that's out of the way, let's get into the podcast. So in today's podcast episode, we are joined by two of my great friends. First off, we have someone who has been on the channel but has never actually shown his face. Been part of a few community live streams when we were playing GTA, and that is Harry. How are we doing, bud? You good?
I'm all good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Must be strange for you to show your face on camera on this channel. That makes no sense, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, your views are going to go down as soon as my face is revealed to the public on your channel, so
oh, you have a beautiful face, man. You have a beautiful face. And the other person that we've got on our channel today is Elliot. Now, Elliot is someone that you guys are familiar with. He's been on a few of the Chilling with the Ohmies podcasts. He's helped with the community live stream. And yeah, I had to ask him to come on for the first episode of Season 2. So, El, how are we doing, my friend? You keeping well?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. All things considered.
Now, there is something that I'm going to let you guys know right now. And we have been trying to record this intro for about 10 minutes because, well, everything just kept falling apart. We had Elliot given no headphone users a warning, blew my eardrums out. And yeah, nothing's gone right because I actually can't speak. Yeah, it's been very strange. But I'm glad you guys did come on. We actually attempted to...
It's all gone really well on my side, so...
Oh, sweet. That is always good to know.
Apart from the delay means we're talking over Jay.
Yeah, there's a slight bit of delay. We're trying it out on Zoom
the
today.
Delay's a bit bad.
Just trying to make sure everything kind of runs smooth. As you guys know, a lot of places have, or a lot of channels have moved over to say like Zoom or Discord for podcasts, which is something that we should have done a long time ago. Last year, the first season of Chilling with the Ohmies, I was really surprised of how well it went. But I think something that that we tried keeping was the in-person effect of that podcast. And with lockdown and things, we just weren't quick enough to react, and I just focused on reviews, whether it was hardware or e-liquid. But yeah, like I said, this episode's going to be kind of explaining, one, where I've been and why I haven't been uploading. Two, some about Harry's music, because he's got some stuff coming, which I'll let him elaborate on later. And just a general conversation with you guys. I've not spoke to you guys in way too long, and I kind of want to summarize up the last sort of few months of 2020, few months of December, that makes sense, of 2020, because I think as a channel, as a community, we did so well, and I just didn't acknowledge it or say anything to you guys. I just feel terrible, but there are reasons behind that. So firstly, I think something that probably needs explaining is how we actually met Harry, because some people who maybe aren't in our friend circle or come to the store or anything will just think, who's this random young kid with these boomers? So yeah, I'll let you take it away in terms of how we met and things.
Yeah, so we met in college. I think it was my first year of doing college, and the course was split up into two sides. So there was a course and there was a performance course, and you was in tech and I was in the pop or performance, and that's how our paths crossed.
Yeah, it was a strange time in my life. I decided to leave a full-time job to go back to college and do like a refresher's course in music tech, because obviously I knew I wanted to create content. I didn't know what content to create, but one thing I wanted to kind of freshen up was audio skills, because audio goes a long way, not just in YouTube, but just in anything content creation-wise. So yeah, it was a strange time, but like Harry said, the course was split into two, with your technical side and then your performance side. And I think what, if I'm being honest, when I met Harry, and I'm trying to not speak about you in the third person because you're right here, but when we met, like, I could see that there was this young kid that was just striving to get the most out of a course and learn as much as he could. And I mean, the course was only a year for me. After that, I'd gone. But did you stay on another year?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. So level, I think it started with level 2, and that was 1 year, and then level 3 was split up into 2 years. So I was at college for a total of 3 years.
Nice, because after that, it was almost like in my opinion, when we left, went our separate ways, I didn't really think there would be many opportunities for our paths to cross again. But it's been the complete opposite, and it's been the most random things that have brought each other back into our lives. That makes sense. So yeah, I just think people should know that for those of them that don't know, and they're just thinking, who is this kid? We haven't like kidnapped him and stuck him in a basement and made him record videos. We actually know him. But Elle, tell us a little bit about what you've been up to the last few months. Like, what have you been doing? What have you been trying to sink your teeth into? Just give us a little bit of an insight, man. I've spoke to you a few times, obviously, but for the community that hasn't seen you in a long time, just fill us in, mate. What's been going on in the world of Elliot?
Well, first of all, I was going to say that you think that you and Harry's sort of history is a bit like chance meeting. I don't think anything could be more chance meeting than ours, really. Do you not think?
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's a beautiful thing when you start breaking down relationships. I think the weirdest thing for people when they know that me and H are friends is just the age gap. Do you know what I mean? They just think, yo, that's a bit weird. Like, I'm not grooming kids. Do you know what I mean? I'm not about that life. But it's usually the question is, oh, how did you two meet? But no, you're 100% right, El. Ours was definitely by chance. That you couldn't predict if even if you tried. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty crazy, to be fair. Like, my girlfriend just happened to live here, and then I was living in Holland at the time, and then I met Danny, and then through Danny I think I met you, and it was all because of the vape shop.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I remember the first time we spoke and you were talking about Danny, and I was thinking to myself, wow, Danny hasn't been here for a while, but that means that you've been either not been here in a while, or you've been a customer of the store for a long while. So then in my head I was like, I must have met this guy at some stage when I was working under Danny as a part-timer. But yeah, we kind of just went from there, and we've got a lot of common interests, whether it's photography, videography, YouTube, that sort of stuff. So obviously that's where that's come from. And obviously I've spoke to both of you about this many times. When it comes to creating content, a lot of my friends like consuming it, but they don't like creating it, which is perfectly fine. But it's also kind of stumped what I want to do with my close friends rather than people I've met on the internet, if that makes sense. So with you two saying, look, we'll record videos, we'll do this, it's just such a relief that I've got some friends that are also interested in creating the content as well as being a consumer. So before...
Yeah, I mean, I used to do... I mean, I've been a member on YouTube since 2006, 2007. I was probably like early teens, 12, 13, something like that. Back when YouTube was very easy to create for. You could have a £2 microphone and a cheap piece of shit headset for like £3 off the shelf at Tesco, and you just recorded
videos on a potato.
Unregistered version of Bandicam or Hypercam or cracked fraps or something, and you just literally just dumped it, and you didn't care if it sounded like shit, didn't need editing, you just dumped it raw on YouTube, and you got views and clicks. But when it started getting into the professional side, YouTube started becoming a lot more professional and a lot more business oriented, I sort of gave it up, because people don't realize just the amount of work that goes into it. Even some of my gameplay videos, I'd re-record them 6 or 7 times because I fucked up. You got, most people nowadays make a script. You've got the audio editing, you've got the syncing, you've got the editing, you've got creating an intro, creating an outro, doing your captions, doing your thumbnail, doing your tags, doing your description. People don't realize quite how much work goes into YouTube videos nowadays, especially, and most people hire an editor as well. So it's a lot of work, a lot of work.
This is something we spoke about, especially the back end of 2020, and it's something I'll elaborate in a little while. Just to just kind of put it out for you guys, this podcast is going to be up and down in terms of emotions and rides, but we're going to try and keep it as balanced as possible. And something I do want to say with the Chilling with the Ohmies podcast is we initially started season 1, so it would be a vape related podcast to tie in with the channel, right? The problem we found was there are some weeks where there are nothing to talk about, but we still want to create a podcast. So with season 2 moving forward, this podcast is just going to be a generic podcast. We're going to talk about all sorts of different things, whether it's YouTube related, life related, vape related. Still, it's not going to be solely focused on that. And I just want to get that in there quite quick in case people don't want to sit through the entire episode. But yeah, no, it's very strange because you've hit the nail on the head. YouTube just kind of hit a point and just it just soared off and changed into all these different things. And I think that's one thing from last year that people don't really realize until you actually sit there and explain it to them. Like your title, tags and descriptions, your thumbnail, the keyword searches, like all of the back-end metadata that you need to do just to get some views, along with the idea and actually executing the content. Like a lot of people just don't understand how time-consuming that can be. But before we get into some doom and gloom, I do want to actually speak to you guys within the community and everyone that's on this channel and just say thank you so much for all the support. I mean, I haven't uploaded for nearly 3 months now, and I've not posted anything on the community tab, and there's been no videos. I have started posting Instagram stories recently, but I know a lot of you guys don't follow me on Instagram, which is perfectly fine. But for you guys who don't follow me on Instagram, have no idea where I've been. And I've still been looking at my YouTube Studio app every single day, and all the comments that come in are incredible. And the reason I want to say thank you is because, like, in general, what the channel did and what we did as a community last year was incredible. It's something I would never expect to ever happen, especially in such a short space of time. But the two main things I want to talk about is, or just acknowledge and say thank you so much for, is we come second in the Vapor of the Year Vapor Round Readers Award, which is just mental. So thank you so much for that. I never expected that. You guys showed so much support. I actually remember the conversation I had with Nick when the links come out for the voting, and I thought, I don't expect to get anywhere with it, but I'm just going to put the links out and see what you guys, either take to it or don't. And I was kind of like, it is what it is. You don't know unless you try. And the feedback and response we got was insane. So thank you so much. And just off the back of that, a few weeks later, we come 11th in the top 11 UK review channels for eSig Click, which yet again, insane. Did not expect that whatsoever. Just put the links out and kind of with the momentum and went, why not? And yet again, you guys showed some insane support. So thank you so much. 2020 in general for the channel was mad. It was just mad. And I never got to say thank you in December because of other things that happened, which I will speak about. But I just wanted to get out of the way quite early in this podcast and say, like, I appreciate you guys so much. Since not uploading my last video to now, we've still gained like 400 and something subs. So if you are new to the channel, this is the first video you're seeing that's new, stick around. It's not usually like this. We've got a lot planned for this year, which is something I will be discussing today as well. But before I go into all my doom and gloom stuff, I want to go into some happy stuff, which is Mr. Harry. You, sir, are a singer-songwriter. Would that be the correct term for you, or would you prefer musician?
I think so. I think we'll go with that. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, tell us a bit about it, because you've told me that there is a little project you've been working on, which is coming out soon.
Yes, so I've been doing music for as long as I can remember, and I think 2017, 2018, there was a guy on my course, and he introduced me to a style of music that I'd never done before. I've been doing that style for 3 years, up until a point in the first lockdown where I just stopped doing music because I just felt unmotivated. I just felt everything was just a bit stale creatively. I was doing the same song over and over again, technically. So we had to play around with certain other styles of music, and we found this other style that's still got elements of my old music, but it's got some modern elements into it as well. So I'm really excited to be revealing some of that material soon. I also have a TikTok. I've delved into that.
He's gone to the dark side. I love TikTok, man. I love TikTok.
Yeah, the amount of messages I've had saying, "Oh, you joined the dark side. Oh, how does it feel?" I'm like, okay then. But yeah, I'm sure Jay will put all of my links in the description. That'd be really helpful.
No, not part of the agreement. Of course I will.
Cool.
So I will put all of Harry's. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to your. Have you got anything on Spotify that you want to put out there, or are you just waiting for your new stuff to drop?
I've got.
Because what I can do.
I've got some.
I was going to say what I can do is I can put your Spotify link in the description.
Yeah, I've got some of my old stuff on in there, but soon there'll be some new stuff.
Have you got a date for your new stuff at all?
No.
Right. Okay.
But,
fair enough. Now, I mean, I know H is a friend. Sorry, this delay is really cutting us both off. I'm so sorry. All I was going to say is I know H is a friend, and I do support his music, always have. But genuinely, this guy's incredible. So I'll make sure to put his TikTok in the link description and his Spotify. But I just wanted to get that out there. You crack on, mate. You keep going.
We'll just go with that. That's fine. It's cool. This
Fair
delay
enough.
has fucked me.
Harry's got to send all his stuff off to me for mastering now.
Yeah, no, this is what I was just about to link onto. Elliot's obviously got a bit of background when it comes to music production, and I think it would be really interesting to see Elle and Harry working together on some music. I think that'd be quality. But talk us through a bit about that, Elle. What's your background within music?
Always been interested in music. Like I grew up listening to trance, EDM, euphoric stuff that my mum used to do raves in the kitchen and stuff. So I've always grown up with that. I still listen to trance. In fact, in 2019, I actually saw Above and Beyond at Printworks in London, which was like a dream of mine to see them live.
Nice.
That was incredible. I did take my girlfriend. She didn't particularly enjoy the scene, so it was a bit of a shame that she didn't quite enjoy it. But no, that was definitely a top moment of 2019. But yeah, since I've been about 13, 14, basically since I've been doing YouTube as well, I've been doing music. Never been particularly good. I would take like melodies and stuff I found online and then tweak them to what I want them to be. And then mainly mine's like, what I do is mixing, finding the right presets, creating my own synth pads, stuff like that. And I was a nobody until I offered my music to the story is that there was a mod at the time, mod for Minecraft, which was the dubstep gun mod, which the guy kept getting nuked for copyright. And he was like, if anyone's got any music, can you send it to me? Like, you know, can we work something out? So I contacted this guy. I was like, yeah, this ain't gonna go anywhere, but who knows? You know, you don't know. So I contacted this guy and sent him like some of my original tunes, and he was like, yeah, this is great, this is fantastic, I can put this in the mod. I was like, yeah, as long as you give credit, I don't want any money or anything. Like the exposure will be good enough for me at that time. And the mod got reviewed by like some top Minecraft YouTubers at the time, that like, you know, a couple of million sub sort of channels, which was huge back then. You know, Minecraft was exploding back then as well. And because these big channels reviewed this mod and people were going like, what the hell's that music? That music's really cool. Like, who's that guy? And then people were being sent to my channel. So some of my original stuff has got like 60, 70K views on YouTube.
That's mad.
So yeah, and it's basically thanks to me reaching out to offer my music to this freaking Minecraft mod that I got semi-renowned for it, sort of thing. You know, I still get people commenting on my older stuff going, dude, your music's amazing, like we need more. And I'm like, I just haven't had the drive though for a few years now. I need something.
I was just about to say,
get me back into it.
Yeah, would you ever pursue that again? I know you kind of answer that with the no drive, but do you think that could be a change of environment or a change of the way you
not really
make
that.
things?
The thing is, I wanted to make my own stuff from scratch. Like, obviously,
Okay.
in music production, you're not going to be able to you can do 100% from scratch, but a lot of, even big DJs and stuff will use samples. So I know I'm not like, not including samples, but because I use a lot of MIDI packs and stuff and I smash melodies together, I want to get away from that and create my own melodies and create like fully unique stuff. But I've tried watching YouTube tutorials. I've tried watching like how to learn the piano. I've tried looking at melodies, and it's like melodies are really simple. You just go da 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 da, and I'm like, what? Whereas Harry said that he's okay with that, but not so good on the mixing and synth side and.
Exactly. So you guys need to be put in the same room together and just see what happens and make some lovely musical babies. I don't know if that's the right term, but that's what I'm going to go with.
I mean, I don't know quite what Harry's style is, but I mean, I've done all sorts of EDM. I've done, house, dance, techno, dubstep,
Yeah, that's a question, H. What would you say your style is now? Because ever since I've known you, it has changed. You've gone through a few different genres to kind of find your sound. How would you sum up the new sound that you're coming with, like your new project? What would you say that is?
It's just a mixture of different elements. So there's some like Bon Iver in there. There's some like James Blake,
Ooh.
Jack Garrett. There's an artist there's an artist in Australia called Vancouver Sleep Clinic who's a massive influence of it. So it's kind of a mixture of like folk mixed with some like techie drums and stuff like that. So,
but that's quite different. That's very different to like music that's coming out now. I'm actually so gassed for your new projects. Like, I really am. I said to Nick, for those of you guys who don't follow me on Instagram or any socials or anything, me and Nick are getting married this year, and I said to Nick, we need to get Harry to perform a set, whether it's his own stuff or covers or whatever. He needs to be there. But there's something about your voice, man. It pulls you in, and again, it's different. It's not something you hear all the time. So, he's just ruined the secret. It's just auto tune. Just farts into the mic, tunes it. So there are a few things I want to speak about in this podcast, and there is a reason why I've got Elliot and Harry on today, because they're good friends of mine. I've spoke to these guys over the last few months about things that have been going on, and I don't really want to just lay it on thick. I just kind of want to address it, speak to you guys, be as transparent as I can, and then kind of move on from it. 'Cause like I said earlier, I just feel like I need to be able to communicate with you guys more. You guys are incredible at keeping in touch, and a lot of you have been DMing me saying, are you okay? Like, where's the videos? Hope you're all right. And there's not been any pressure from you guys. It's more from general well-being, which honestly I can't thank you enough for. And I'm so grateful to have you guys support me with whatever we're doing content-wise. But it kind of come onto the back of the Vaporesso Awards. Like I said, 2020 for the channel, we did stuff I didn't think we could do, or we should have been doing at that stage, and we did. And I felt like with the momentum we'd gained, we could just carry on and keep going. And genuinely, I felt on top of the world. The problem with that is when you get pulled into just creating content full time. Now, I don't want to say full time as in it's my job, because it wasn't. A lot of you guys know that I work in the industry as well, so that is my job. But I'd made my work my hobby and vice versa. So I was going to work 5 days a week, and then I was coming home and making vape videos in my spare time, and that process just got longer and longer, and it kept going round and round. So it becomes that all I was doing was vape, and nothing else. I neglected social aspects of my life. Definitely, there's just a lot that I neglected, really, when I look back. And there was a few things that happened in December that just made me stop. which is probably a good thing. Now I'm gone out the other side of it a few months later. It's definitely a good thing that happened, because if it didn't, I don't think I would have stopped. I think it needed something external to do that, because it helped me change my perspective and think of things differently. I'm making it sound like I went on some spiritual journey. I really didn't, but I feel like I have been. My perspective has changed. I've grown as a person since my last upload, and changed the way I'm thinking about how to go forward. So the biggest thing for me is I never felt like I could talk about the accolades or achievements that we had because of the year it was. Like, I think Elliot mentioned earlier about the first lockdown. Like, lockdowns and COVID and all of these things going on, like, it affected so many people in so many different ways. And I tried staying so positive and so optimistic that I didn't let any of it affect me, because I just wanted to keep doing what I was doing. But when it got to near the end of the year, it just all hit me at once. But something that stayed throughout the year was, I can't come on here and talk about how well we did when there are people that are genuinely struggling and people that, you know, are suffering. It just didn't, my brain couldn't comprehend that it's okay to be proud of your achievements, as long as you're doing it in a way where you're grateful for it rather than rubbing it in people's faces. But yeah, so the main thing, one of the main reasons I wasn't uploading is in December, early December, I had a car crash, and I'm fine now, like physically, mentally still getting there, but I'm thankful that it wasn't life or death, or it wasn't what I would consider a serious injury. It wrote my car off, and it did knock me for 6 mentally, and I was hurt physically, obviously, but because that being an external force and coming out of the blue, like the accident was not my fault at all, and I think it would have been different if it was my fault, because that's obviously something that I can control, but because it wasn't my fault, it really did mess with my mental state, and I just didn't want to upload. I didn't want to do anything. I was still going to work, wasn't in the right headspace. Like, even when I was speaking to Nick after work, when I was speaking to Elliot or Harry in between this, I just wasn't the same person, and I didn't really understand what it was that changed until I really took time for myself to work out what it was. And this is one of the reasons why I got these two on, because I want to kind of get their perspective, rather than me just yamming on about myself. But I think that I needed that break, because like I said, if it wasn't an external force that stopped me, I'd have just keep going and going and going, and I was burning the candle at both ends, and I think that was pretty evident to see. So yeah, that was one of the main reasons I hadn't uploaded for a while.
I mean, I said to you a few days ago, like, I could see that you were going to crash and burn, because you were getting to the point where, I mean, you and I discussed this back when like things were a bit more normal, but it was like, oh, I need to take time for myself, but you'd only take 2 or 3 days, and I was thinking, you know, that's not enough. And you kept telling me, oh, I need to sort my routine out. Routine's my problem. You know, I need to balance work and life. But then I'd see you online on Facebook at like 1 o'clock in the morning on a work day, when you're still trying to render a video and upload a video, and it's like, and I thought to myself, you know, this guy, that I can help him. I can't, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I can only offer advice. Yeah, no. But I was thinking to myself, like, you know, he is going to crash and burn and realize that a week or 2 weeks isn't enough to sort out the psyche. And it looks like it sort of came to a head for you in December, and you realized that you needed something to take a much longer break. Yeah, something had to give, and something that we spoke about before. And like I said, I don't want this to be like a woe is me, first world problems thing. It's just to give you guys more context. Because I was working in the industry and doing my hobby in my spare time, and my company have been incredible in allowing me to mix the two. You know, if I've got downtime at work, they're like, cool, you can use the store to film. They let us film a lot of season 1 at the shop, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But when you start getting used to that
in your routine. I think, right, well, I'm going to work, but I'll take my camera because I'll shoot some B-roll and I'll do this and I'll work and I'll do this and do that. I'll come home and I'll sit there and do this and I'll spend an hour and a half recording. I'll do the editing for 3 hours. I'll do all and you just get it all over and done with. And then you think, oh, it's 3 a.m. I've got to be up in 4 hours to get up and go ready for work and do it all again. So when I was taking a week off of work, I was still making content. When I took a week off of content, I was still going to work. So I never got an actual break from both. So like I said, having an external force making me stop was like, right, I can't control this now, so I'm gonna have to deal with it.
I mean, the thing is as well, like it's not really a character flaw, but you were getting to the point where it's like, oh, you know what, we've got this amazing community. I can't let them down. So even though you weren't quite right up here, it was like I still have to smash out this content. And yeah, in the end, you just sort of crashed and burned, really, because you need your YouTube hobby was becoming a second job. So you were going to one job, then going home and doing your second job, and then getting fuck all sleep, and then repeating, and it's just going to cause burnout. Burnout.
I did it for like 12 months straight. And I know that there are YouTubers out there that do it for years and years and years, and people in professions that do it for years and years and years. And one thing I will say is we're all different as humans. We can all have our own thresholds, right? And I'd like to say that, especially when it comes to the channel, I would put nothing above it. I was just grinding and working, sitting here for hours learning how to do editing techniques, sitting here about color grading certain things, trying out new shots, trying out new formats of the way things work. But ultimately, I let it take over my life. And as much as I really am grateful and I'm so thankful for this community, Elliot's right. I did have a stage where I felt like I can't let you guys down. I have to keep putting out this content. And having that eating away at you when you're not feeling right and you don't want to record because you just want to sleep or you just want a break is so draining. And I'm going to be honest, I think the last month worth of videos, you can really see it. I'm just doing it to do it. And I've had a lot of people in my absence DM me and saying, oh, are you going to still do vape videos? I love doing vape videos. I really do. I just needed a break. And I've also spent this time streamlining productivity. You know, you guys can see I've got a new outlay. We've got new equipment and everything like that. And the way we're doing it now is it's so I can have that work-life balance without having to worry about so many extra things. I've just streamlined everything. Which ultimately will take a lot of pressure off. But yeah, have you guys ever had a situation in your life which has been quite similar, where you just overwork? Because I feel like everyone goes through it to a degree. It just hits them at different stages in life.
In the first lockdown, as I mentioned earlier, it started off really well with being productive with my music. So when we go into the first lockdown, I say March. So March through to June or July, I was like, I'm doing music. There was a Facebook page set up, and it was called Sofa Sessions. And I would do gigs on there
Mate, you were smashing them as well.
Or so, whenever I could get on there, really. And then from July onwards, I kind of just hit a slump of just not wanting to do it anymore. Part of it was down to me just being sick of the situation we were in. Part of it was because, like I said, I found the style of music I was doing became quite repetitive and stale. But especially after New Year, I've started to pick up again, and I'm really happy that I'm doing that, and I'm so excited to get my music out there. But yeah, we've all gone through it. We've all gone through it. I don't want to be that person to say lockdown's to blame, but I think slightly lockdown is.
Of course it is. It's affected so many people in different ways.
I've said for me, this is the third time I've been put into lockdown, the third time I've been put on furlough. So it's the first time I was like, oh right, nice, okay. Second time I was like, all right, whatever. Third time I'm like, okay, I'm just used to it now. I've just got to deal with it all now.
Yeah, no, 100%, mate.
Yeah.
With the first lockdown, I remember speaking to a lot of you guys, whether it was individually or collectively, or on Instagram. My eyes lit up because, like I said, I was trying to stay so positive and optimistic, even though we were in such a bad position globally with this pandemic. my brain instantly went, right, hang on. The government's told us to stay at home. The government are also subsidising 80% of our wages. So I haven't got to worry about finances to a degree. And I can't leave this flat. I'm going to live my life like a full-time YouTuber, and I'm going to spend every day I can working on the channel, crafting, like grinding and doing it. And it was so good for that first initial lockdown. But like you said, H, that second one comes along, that third one comes along, and every time it gets set in place, it hits you in a different part mentally, and you react to it differently. So I 100% agree. Like this one, I'm like, I just want it to be done now. I think everyone does. I understand it's got to be in place for whatever reason, and I'm cool with that. I'm not moaning. I want everyone to be safe. I hope you guys are keeping safe. But I think everyone's ready for it just to be lifted now. Do you know what I mean? Just start getting some normality back, like just being able to do simple things that we've not been able to do for so long. So I can definitely relate with that. It feels good to get it off my chest and talk to you guys, and obviously to L and H about it. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but we actually tried recording this episode a few days ago with the new setup and everything, and it went horribly wrong. Well, the podcast went very well. It's just me being an idiot, didn't change my settings, so the recording we couldn't use. So yeah, we've had to re-record it. So we've changed a few things about, but there is one thing that I want to add to season 2.
There's one thing I want to do first, which is to make sure it's still recording, because we've been going for about 40 minutes.
Well, as far as I'm aware, it's still recording. It looks all good on OBS. It looks all good on Zoom. So I think we're all good. I'm sure the viewers will let us know. If they see this, they obviously know it worked. If they don't see it,
that's why
then...
I've got deja vu.
Yeah, pretty much. That is exactly why. But something I wanted to add to season 2 was is something that every podcast has. That, like, for example, the Happy Hour podcast has your favourite meal deal. The What's Good podcast have the keep your light on and things like that. So it's just fun little games. Now to mix it up and take it away from all the negative stuff. Well, I say it wasn't all negative, but you know what I mean. Take it away from that. We're going to bring some fun. We're going to inject some fun into this. All right. Now the other day when we recorded, we had hot or not questions. But because we did this the other day and I've not changed them, we also had an alternative, which are just versus questions. So, Harry and Elliot, I've got 10 things here, and it is basically versus, and I just want you guys, your opinions on it. Now, one of them was in the hot or not, and I think we spoke about this in the hot or not, but it's in the versus, okay? Are you guys ready? Hell yeah. Right. So, the first versus question is Jaffa cakes. Are they a cake or a biscuit?
Yeah, we did discuss this one. Cake. Jaffa, cake. Cake.
It's a cake.
So you're both on cake. To be honest, like when me and Nick sat down and wrote both of these lists out, and we were saying to ourselves with the whole productivity, if we were at weeks and weeks and weeks worth, we haven't got to think about it. And we were sitting there going, I personally don't know anyone who thinks Jaffa cake is a biscuit. But when you go on Twitter or any other social media, there are millions of people that think it's a biscuit.
Yeah, but Twitter,
What?
you say one thing and there'll be a million people that say the complete opposite just because they can say the complete opposite.
Yeah, no, Twitter is a cesspit, mate. I absolutely hate it.
Have you seen the one? There was a meme going around Instagram, and I think it was on TikTok as well, where probably from TikTok reposted on Instagram, but it was like finding out like people that say the dumbest shit, and it was like there was one which was there are some vegans that eat meat. Yes, we do exist, and it's like,
but you're not vegan if you eat meat.
You're not vegan. What? And then there was there are virgins that have sex. Yes, we do exist. And it was all these ones like, we can be this, but also do this. Yes, we exist. But it's just like two things that don't go together at all. Like virgins that have sex. Yes, we do exist. Well, you're not a fucking virgin then, are you fucking Mongol? You know, like vegans that eat meat. Well, you're not a fucking vegan then, are you? Like, it's like stupid stuff like that. And it's just these people ripping the piss out of these fucking Twitter idiots for saying this shit. Like,
that's jokes. Okay, so we've got... Oh, yeah, no, go on, Carrie.
Being a high consumer of Jaffa cakes, I can guarantee you and confirm that they are cakes.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Real evidence. As I eat a lot of them, all right, they are cakes. Okay, so number 2, DC or Marvel?
In what regard? Are we talking movies or are we talking comics?
We're talking overall. You can only pick one. If you had to choose, regardless if it's comics or movies, you've got DC or Marvel. What one are you picking? It's a hard question, I know.
It is. I'll let Harry go first.
So, if you compare the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the DC Universe, just the way the characters are represented in the MCU compared to the DC, Marvel kicked the shit out of all of them because they're just
better story
relatable.
arcs.
Like,
Yeah. They spent a decade building it.
When you read a Marvel comic book, the one thing you want to feel is that, oh, I can relate to the character in some way. With DC characters, I can't, because you've got Batman who's just rich, Superman who's just,
OP, mate. He's so OP. He's so OP.
Yeah, but so's Captain Marvel.
Like, my favorite. Okay,
She is, but she's Marvel's version of Superman. Do you know what I mean? Because DC have.
But like the main, it's like the main Marvel character that stands out to me as soon as you mention Marvel is Spider-Man, because you read that comic book and you go, oh, that could have happened to anyone. That could have happened to me, could have happened to you, could have happened to your sister, your brother. Like, he's got that. And that, I think, that's why he's probably one of the most popular superheroes of all time, because of that, uniqueness.
And relatability as well.
And he can shoot webs out of his hands.
Which is just dope. He can, like, run up walls and stuff. So, Harry's picking Marvel. What about you, El? DC or Marvel?
Okay, if we're going on movies, Marvel is the clear winner. DC have been fucking about with their movies for God knows how long. The best one that I remember in recent memory is Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot, although they completely fucked up with Wonder Woman 1984. That film was a complete shit show.
Can I say something?
No, it's my turn.
Sorry, can I say something?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I would disagree. I would agree with the fact that they fucked up Wonder Woman 1, because I swear that's just a basic rip-off of the first Captain America film.
Oh, it's the same story, just different character, essentially.
Yeah.
Debatable, but I enjoyed the Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But all the other DC films, apart from maybe Man of Steel back in, when was that, fucking 2007 or something, they've all been pretty shit. Like Suicide Squad was shit. Aquaman was okay, actually. Justice League was shit. Batman v Superman, the one that everyone was hyped up about, was complete and utter garbage. Whereas Marvel's been killing it. But if we're talking animated series, then DC is always knocked out the park. The Justice League animated series was amazing when I was a kid. The Batman animated series is better than all the Batman films that have come ever since then. So it's hard. It's hard to say. But I mean, seeing as most people know Marvel or DC through the movies nowadays rather than the comics or the animated shows or whatever. And of course, Marvel in their movies have some of the like top actors and actresses. Probably have to say Marvel.
Fair play. I'd go Marvel all day long, personally. I don't mind some DC stuff, but it's just...
If you're going DC, you've got to stick with the comics or the animated stuff.
Well, right. Let's go on to question number 3. And one thing I did forget to mention at the start of this, if you are watching, I want you guys to play along and comment below what you would pick for these hot picks. Because, well, I'm just interested. I want to get to know you guys even more. But number 3 is an English breakfast versus a continental breakfast.
What is a continental breakfast?
So, okay. So you've got like a traditional full English.
Yeah.
But then you've got like say when you go on holiday or whatnot, a lot of European countries you have like croissants and Nutella and like slices of ham and yogurt for your breakfast rather than a full English, which is like a more of a fry up style.
I mean, if we're talking for breakfast, I'd probably rather go with a continental because I'd rather have a full English breakfast.
Hang on, you froze at the most ridiculous time. The face that Harry is pulling.
No, but full English is too much for me in the morning.
Right, so H is going full English. El, so I know you cut off a little bit there. You're saying you'd rather have a full English for dinner than for breakfast?
Yeah, it's too much for me in the morning. Continental, nice couple of croissants, nice fresh croissants with some butter in them, bit of ham, or you can go Nutella or jam. Lovely. Just a nice, fresh, crisp breakfast.
This is an argument I always get in with my friends when we talk about it. I love a continental breakfast. It's just so much lighter, and you don't feel like you've swallowed a pan of grease after. Like, I feel like I can just get about my day a bit more. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I love a full English. I love a full English, but for like lunch or dinner, I can't eat that in the morning. I just can't. Like, not if we're talking with all the trimmings. Like, if we've got scrambled eggs, sausage, black pudding, bacon, like fucking French toast or whatever, fried tomatoes. I can't handle all that in the morning.
Harry's in disbelief.
I will fucking filling up in the morning. That's what I want.
Okay, so Harry's going for
English
breakfast. Oh, fair enough. That's a very.
We're not disputing that a full English is amazing. Just not like at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
walk around feeling like you've drank a fucking bucket of concrete.
Fair enough. Okay, number 4 is cats versus dogs.
We did this before as well. I think we're all dog people.
Woof woof.
Woof woof. Okay, woof, number 5. Receiving a text or a phone call?
Text.
Yeah, 100%. I can't deal with phone calls, bro. Don't call me. Just text me.
So
just text me.
My mum recently figured out Facebook Messenger, so we don't have to pay because obviously she lives in France. So if I go over a certain amount of minutes, I have to pay an extortionate fee. Yeah, so she recently figured out, she's like, oh, well, I'll use Facebook Messenger like I would a normal telephone. So I'd be in the middle of like watching a YouTube video and my fucking phone will go bring, 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 bring. I'm like, no, you fucking talk to me before you call me. She's like, well, I would do that for a normal phone call. And I'm like, true, you've got a point. But nowadays, internet etiquette says that you should text someone to let them know that you want to call, and then you say yes or no. Not just...
There is nothing worse. Personally, there is nothing worse. If you want to get hold of me, don't phone me. I will quite happily watch that screen and watch you ring and wait for it to end, and then I'll text you after. I don't know what it is. I think, like you said, things have changed. I don't mind a phone call if I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So if you're like, oh yeah, I'll call you in 20 minutes, cool. If you ring me out of the blue, I ain't answering it. Just text me. Like, anything that you need can be said in a text.
Mate, what happens to me is every time I'm sat on the fucking toilet, I get a phone call. Like, earlier on, I was literally just sitting down, and I got fucking call from Universal Credit, didn't I? Oh, remember that you've got a thing to do tomorrow. Like, I'm just about to fucking take a shit. Like, please don't.
What about you,
stop,
H?
Please.
Are you a text man or a call man?
I feel like from what I've just heard from you, me and you would not get on in the parallel universe because I'm the type of person to ring people out of the blue.
No.
But I think I'm subject to both. Like, I can text people, and I can also, like, if they phone me, I'm happy to answer and be like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
It depends on the number. Like, if it's friends and family that I got in my contacts and showed up as like Jay, I would answer it.
Yeah, of course.
I know, but the thing is, if my mum's calling, I know she wants like a 2.5 hour video call. So if I'm in the middle of watching something on YouTube or whatever, I'm like, yeah, no, decline. But it's when it's a random number and it doesn't tell me what it is, because you get so many fucking spam calls. So it's like, do I answer it? Is it Universal Credit? Is it the job centre, or is it some freaking like dude in a call centre in Mumbai trying to get me to pay for some fucking antivirus software?
Do you know one thing? I use a VPN. This isn't sponsored, by the way, but I use a VPN on my mobile. and a lot of the PPI calls or any sort of calls like that have just stopped. The only people that come, like the ones that come through, seem to be the ones in my contacts.
Oh,
we're frozen again.
well, that
There
did
we go.
really
We're back.
freeze there. That did really freeze.
Are we back? We're back.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. This is the first time we've done anything over Zoom, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, any phone call I'm getting or that I would normally get from like PPI, since I've had a VPN, don't get them. And I don't know if it's related. It probably isn't, but it's just something I've noticed. Number 6, summer or winter. Can only pick one. So, for example, you've got to spend a year living in either summer or winter. What are you choosing?
Summer, as long as it's not continental Europe summer. English summer's fine. French summer, fuck no.
It's not
Okay.
like I cannot stand English summer. Like
It's too humid for me.
It's like even with the fan on, it's just blowing hot air. What's the point? What is the point?
Yeah, but I mean, are we talking like the last couple of summers we've had, or a typical English summer where it doesn't go above like 28?
No. I'm not talking about anywhere in specific. I'm just saying if you had to choose between summer or winter, I don't care if you're choosing an Alaskan winter or an Egyptian summer. Just in general, do you prefer summer temperatures or winter temperatures? That's all.
Although my wardrobe consists of mainly jumpers, winter is always a weird one because you don't know whether you need one jumper or two jumpers and a coat. So sometimes you go out and you think it's -10, it's like 10 degrees outside and you're like fucking sweltering and sweating balls. But sometimes you go out in a t-shirt and you're like a fucking icicle by the time you get home. Whereas summer, you know that you can get away with just a t-shirt. A lot of the time. So I'd probably go summer.
Oh, okay, Alex going summer. What would you pick, H? Guessing winter.
Yeah, I'm going to go for winter, but I don't really want to cop out and say because my favourite time of the year is spring because it's warm, but you've got that nice cool breeze as well.
I do like a spring morning, to be fair. It's nice and crisp, but it's not too cold.
I call it hoodie weather because you can just wear a hoodie. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's warm enough.
I'll give you that.
It's cold enough to wear a hoodie.
Okay.
It depends. It depends. Okay, it depends when we're classing summer going on to. Because if we're talking like August, end of summer,
boys,
like toward August.
No. Because you're
then
talking
that's
autumn,
like
bruv.
perfection. August.
You're talking autumn, bruv.
August
Right.
is on that borderline. That's on the cusp.
See, you're thinking about it too much. Just summer or winter. That's it. Right.
Fine, summer.
Cool. Right. The next one is comedy or horror.
Comedy.
Oh, okay. I'll go comedy. Nick would choose horror all day long. Book or a movie?
Oh, I used to read so much. I've not read a book in probably a decade. I'd probably have to go movie nowadays. Not that I really watch movies much.
Like I think the last book I properly read was Of Mice and Men back in secondary school.
What a book! What a book!
Such a good book.
What a book!
What was the last book I read? No idea.
I can barely read, so I'd go movie.
I'd go with it as well.
Yeah.
Number 9. Would you rather use a phone or a desktop? So, for example, if you've got a certain thing to do and you have an app for your phone or a desktop, which would you rather be sat at to do that task?
Desktop.
Fair enough. I will, from my own perspective, I have started getting into more of my phone stuff so I can do it on the go. For example, I can't really go into too much detail. There are certain things I have to do, which I can now do on the go via mobile apps, and I do really like that feature that if I forget it when I'm at the place I need to be, I can go, I can just do it on the go and it all syncs up. However, I do like being on the desktop. Last question of the versus questions is console games or PC games?
PC Master.
That froze at the most convenient time. Are we back?
Yeah, so now console, I'd have to go with console, but the one game I really only play on console is FIFA, and I know for a fact that there's a game mode on FIFA on the PC which is so good because you can mod and it just makes it 100 times better. So
yeah, Elliot is PC Master Race and Harry is console. I'm kind of stuck in between with that because I've got a PC that will play games, but I didn't build it for that. I built it to edit and render videos. So I definitely use my console a hell of a lot more than my PC. However, when I am playing a PC game on my PC, I do thoroughly enjoy it. But yeah, what do you guys think for the versus questions? I hope you guys put in the comments what you would choose on each one. But yeah, I just thought it was something fun, something to break up the podcast from all the doom and gloom. Now, all that's left is all the positive stuff, which, to be honest, I've left it an hour before I say this, but you guys may have noticed that I'm wearing a J Jupiter hoodie because we actually have some merch available, okay? Now, I've left an hour for this plug, so you can't judge me. And if you are watching at this point, you must really like the content. So make sure you leave a like and check out the merch in the link description below. We've got hoodies, we've got t-shirts. A lot of you guys were asking me across Christmas if we were ever going to release merch. And for a lot of it, I was like, I don't really know. I don't know if people would want it. Whereas now, we've set it up, it's there. We've got some basic and simple designs, just J Jupiter collection. And we're also going to be releasing a new design every single month of the year. I know we're in the end of February, but we have a new design for the start of March, which I will reveal probably in my next video. And yeah, so every month there's going to be new designs. Make sure you check out the link in below. If you like it, cool. If you don't, not a problem. Just letting you guys know that it is available. We also have mugs as well, which is great.
Next month's merch is going to be a banger because I helped work on it.
Yeah, Elliot did help me clean up and sort out a few bits of this design. The one thing I wanted to kind of say to you guys with this merch is it's not just, "Oh, give me your money." It's something I want to create with the community. So I've started with this very simple J Jupiter stuff. It's just our logo on some clothing. And then month by month, we are going to be doing more designs that are a bit different. So this one, I've got another design to work on so we can catch up to have 12 designs for 12 months because we're starting at the end of Feb. But what I want from you guys is if you have any ideas or anything like that is to leave it in the comments below because I want to have a few community-based designs for the merch as well. Because that'd be a really cool thing that we could all work on a design together. That would be amazing. So that's just a little merch plug, really, and the plans for it. Very, very easy to go over. The second from last thing to talk about is probably what a lot of you are kind of wondering. What is going on with the content going forward? Are you still going to be doing vape stuff? Of course I am. I think the problem I've kind of gone over from last year was all I was doing was hardware reviews and the occasional e-liquid reviews. And when you do the same things over and over with the products that are very similar, you kind of feel like you want to bang your head against the wall. Even though I love making the content and I know that you guys enjoy the content, after taking a step back with this break and kind of looking at it and analysing it, I do really enjoy doing vape content. So the hardware reviews will be continuing. This should be out on a Tuesday if I've timed it right. So the next video on the channel will be Friday, and that will be a hardware review for the Vaporesso Swag PX80. I'm a bit behind on my reviews, but it's because I took this break, but I do have some to catch up with. So we are going to be doing some hardware reviews every week, and hopefully we'll be doing the Chillin' with the Ohmies podcast once a week as well. But I will start to slip in some different styles of videos that are still vape related, so it's not just hardware review after hardware review. But I just want to clear up with you guys, I will still be doing them. And the last thing is something I'm still trying to work out the kinks to, but it's 95% done. And that is a second channel. So this year, I'm going to be working on keeping this channel, doing its thing, giving you guys the content that you want, making the content that I enjoy, but also having a second channel, which is basically going to be a reaction channel with a load of friends. So we're just going to set up a channel.
There'll be 5 seconds.
It's still freezing, man.
Yeah.
I can't get any flow. Yeah, so it's going to be a second channel, which is basically a reaction channel. We're going to have a load of friends, so every video is with different people, and we're just going to react to the most random things on the internet. So yeah, as soon as that is actually a channel and it's created and it's all ready to go, there's a few videos on there, I will talk to you guys about it on this channel. But yeah, that's essentially it. We've got new merch with plans with new designs every month. The vape reviews and stuff are still coming. The podcast should be a weekly thing. I say should, touch wood, it should be a weekly thing. And obviously we have got a second channel coming. So this year, when I was taking this absence, I was thinking about how can we scale up this year? How can we do it bigger and better? Part of it was the equipment and the setup to streamline things, to make sure I can get out as much as possible without sacrificing anything. And there was just a few other ideas that me, Nick, Elliot, Harry had spoke about, and it was like, why can't we implement them and just kind of build it all together? So yeah, that's actually all we've got to talk about.
When you said how can we make it bigger and better, I thought I was so close to going, you get me on because I make everything bigger. So
there we go. That's part of the problem. Part of the solution. We get Harry on, makes things bigger.
Part of the problem.
But something like
but Jay,
you
you
guys
might
do
have to
say.
invest in a really wide angle lens for that, mate.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Bang.
Wow.
Yeah, all right then.
Wow. But basically, one thing that we've all spoke about over the last few months is I just love making content full stop, and I don't want to pigeonhole myself just to vape things. As much as I enjoy it, but there are times where I don't want to record a hardware review, but I do want to sit in a Zoom room and just react to, I don't know, ant farms or something, because it's different and funny. So having that outlet not only give you guys a chance to watch content from us that isn't just vaping, it also gives me a bit of a break from the type of content I'm constantly recording. So it works for everyone, really. The channel hasn't been made yet. I'm still working on a few designs for it, but it should be going up within the next few weeks. But like I said, I will keep you guys updated on the community tab and in videos. So the next hardware review, if you see little merch pop-ups or me talking about it, and people are like, Jay, you didn't say anything about this, I'm going to say, look, you need to go to the season 2, episode 1, watch the whole 1 hour and 6 minutes, and you'll know exactly what's going on, which is a bit of a big ask, but that's what I will be saying. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about today. Is there anything that you guys want to chuck in?
I mean, we
Anything
did
you want to talk about?
when we did the last recording, we did briefly mention the whole vape situation in America.
Yeah, we can talk about that. Like I said, it's not strictly a vape podcast. However, we can still talk about it. So Elliot has a few things to bring up within the vaping industry that's been happening recently. So take it away, my friend.
Mainly to do with how most American package delivery companies, so DHL, FedEx, UPS, USPS, whatever, have all banned or substantially gated the shipping of vape products, especially those containing nicotine or based on nicotine. Making it a lot harder for people to get their juices, basically.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous. I think I made a mistake last time, and I'm kind of glad that we're not sharing that video. But you were basically saying that it closes, it keeps the loophole open for DIY. Am I right? Or no, they're shutting the DIY, so you have to go brick and mortar.
I reread at the end of that recording, I reread the thread on r-electronic cigarette over on Reddit, and because a lot of your aromas and your VG and PG are all pharmaceutical, they can't ban the transport of that because it's pharmaceutical grade stuff. They're used in other products, not just e-liquid. So the main issue is like nicotine products, but because in America they have to put on vape devices and even on devices like this product contains nicotine, the companies could get away with, we're not shipping that because it contains nicotine.
That's crazy.
Just a shitty situation for American vapors, really.
I mean, I know Vaping Bogan was talking about Australia last year with the nicotine ban. No import, export or sales of nicotine. And again, it's just disappointing. We spoke about this before. I'm grateful that we live in the UK who do actively support the idea of vaping. Obviously, we're not essential over here yet. But freezing. They do... There we go. Yeah, but they do actively support the industry, and I'm grateful for that. It's just sad to see the rest of the world, or parts of the world, big parts of the world, just not take to it, or they just want to they just want to shut it down because it doesn't make as much money as tobacco, which is just sad because you're stopping millions of people from having a harm reduction alternative or a safer alternative for them. It's just so sad. And I just don't know where it's going to stop. Is vaping just going to disappear in the next 10 years? Are they just going to slowly keep turning that screw bit by bit until there's no point because there's too many loopholes to go through just to get a pod system with some juice? Or is it going to come to a point where the people just go, look, do you know what? Enough's enough. I don't want to smoke your death sticks, mate. All right, I want something else. I don't know.
Do you not think it could come to the point of them rising the prices of certain vape products to get a bit more money in? Is that the problem, or is it just...
Well, they're already doing that in terms of taxes, especially in places like Australia and America. A pack of cigs is like $30, and a bottle of 50ml of vape juice is again $30. So they are, really tightening up the old screw on the wallet. But I mean, in some countries they've basically outright banned vaping because smoking's so cheap and makes them so much money. I think India's one of the places. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think India's one of the places because you can pick up a pack of cigarettes for $1. So
it's mad. Yeah, and in places like that, it's hard to argue because you think, well, yeah, you're not looking at it from a health perspective. You're looking at it from a business perspective, and that's the difference. Business perspective, if you could pick up a pack of smokes for $1 and you've a local or a pod system's like $40, then a lot of the general public will go, I might as well just get 40 packs of cigarettes. Do you see what I mean? And like I said, it's sad.
The one thing we've got going for us though is that China are the ones who, Chinese guys who invented the e-cig in the first place. And most manufacturers are based in China. A lot of the big manufacturers are based in China. So the market over there is freaking huge. I mean, you don't really see Chinese people vaping, but you don't really see them smoking either. It's a bit weird, but I mean, the industry over there must be fucking huge. Billions and billions and billions of one. So
from all my knowledge, Asia in general, they don't vape. They produce it, they send it out. It's a good export for them, but they are more into IQOS because it's still because it's a heat not burn. It's still tobacco based, but it's flavored. So I know
that's not quite true because I'm in a gaming Discord with many people from Asia, and they're saying in Malaysia and Singapore and stuff that vaping's actually really freaking big.
Oh wow, okay, fair enough. I just remember reading an article comparing the two. IQOS blows them out of the water for sheer numbers because it's still flavoured tobacco cartridges essentially rather than e-liquid. Because I know that in places like Japan, they've got 200 flavours of Kit Kat. They just love Kit Kat. So when you've got something like IQOS, which is still smoking to them, but you've got all these different flavours, they buy straight into it because they've got so much variety.
Yeah, the thing is, though, a lot of these Asian countries don't, apart from, say, India, you don't really see a lot of Japanese people walking down the street smoking or Chinese people smoking. It's not something you really see all too often, really.
I mean, the one mad statistic is China consumes the most amount of cigarettes on the world on the planet. But like you said, when you watch bits, I don't typically associate smoking with China. But
then again, you're looking at 2.5 billion people, so 2.5, 3 billion at this point people. So you seeing a few hundred on a TV clip.
It's nothing. Do you know what I mean? But what do you guys think? Leave a comment below.
Think the industry will die because a lot of it's based in China, and it will earn the Chinese government too much money, and it's like a billions and billions and billions dollar industry. So, I don't think it's going anywhere. It's not like all the manufacturers are based in America. You have a few, but they can just outsource. They could just move their headquarters to Beijing or Hong Kong or Taiwan or somewhere, and there you go. They can still ship worldwide.
That's also very true. But I want to know what you guys think. So put it in the comments what your views on the whole recent articles that we spoke about in terms of vaping. What would you like to see change? Whereabouts are you watching this video from? Is it a serious issue where you live, or is it, widely accepted? Let us know. Genuinely interested. We do get quite a vast audience base from random parts of the world. So it'll be interesting to know. But other than that, I think that's about everything, boys.
I don't think we missed anything out, even though the other recording was like 1 hour and 40. I don't think we missed anything.
I think a lot of it was the fact that I was rambling for so long. But I think I managed to cut a lot of that out.
I think you went a bit more in depth into your issues and stuff, but we wanted to make it a bit less heavy.
Yeah, it got a bit deep. So yeah, I just want you guys to know that I am okay. Don't worry, and I do appreciate everyone that's reached out. It was just a tough time. But yeah, other than that, I think that's a nice little place to wrap everything up. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, make sure you leave a like, as it does help the channel out a lot. Subscribe if you are new. Make sure you check out the merch. You know what to do, all right? Make sure you check out Harry's TikTok and his Spotify, because trust me, you won't regret it.
Cheers.
Maybe a little, but you won't regret it. And yeah, until next time, guys, stay safe and peace.
Bye.
Oh, actually, yeah, thank you for coming on, guys. I wasn't being rude. I'll add that in there as well. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time. All right. Bye.